So I just found what's quite possibly the saddest story that I've found all year. This actually popped up on Twitter on my other Twitter account. So I've got my NightDocs account, and I've also got one that's just at Jim Pagel that I use for my journalism stuff. So this was a story that popped up on my Twitter about a woman who died from a drug overdose, and this one really hit close to home. Let me see if I can find the specific article that I first saw. So here's the one that I actually found here. It's on Fox 26 Houston here. So I want to read a couple of different versions of this article here because this is what I kind of want to talk about here, okay? There's a good reason for it. So it says here, autopsy. Mother overdosed, infant starved to death. I mean, it's just the worst. This is honestly one of the saddest stories I've heard all year. Autopsies in Tennessee show that a 1-year-old child starved to death in his car seat in a house where his mother died of a drug overdose, while his 3-year-old sister, found alive, had tried for days to feed her brother. I just imagine that. I mean, as a dad myself, you know, I've got 2 little girls, and it's so hard to picture one of my kids being so helpless and the other one just, because I remember how young they were and how helpless they were. 3 years old, I mean, they're starting to kind of get a grip on how to do some things, but they can't do anything really complicated. And the fact that a 3-year-old had the presence of mind to know that even a 15-month-old needed help and was trying to feed it. And it's just awful that that kid has to now grow up with the memory of what happened. And even though she's 3 years old, I doubt she's going to forget. It says the bodies of Tiffany Spears, 32, and her infant son, Nicholas Crowder, were found in February at their home in Portland, about 35 miles northeast of Nashville. So I guess it's Portland, Tennessee. I didn't know there was one. The boy had been strapped into a car seat that was left on a bedroom floor. The autopsy results released Monday showed that the woman had been dead for several days when a probation officer making a home visit alerted the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, officials said. Tests showed that her cause of death to be drug toxicity from methamphetamine and fentanyl, news outlets reported. The 15-month-old boy died of starvation and dehydration. Both deaths were ruled accidental. The 3-year-old was treated at a hospital as a precautionary measure. It appeared that the decedent's sister tried to take care of the decedent for several days, the autopsy report said, noting that food was found in and around the car seat. That is the part that just guts me. Gosh, it's so awful. And what's crazy is this woman died back in February. And the reason it's news now here in June is because the toxicology reports came back that the woman had overdosed, and she didn't have anybody else with her, which really goes to show how serious a problem it is. The human cost of drug addiction in this country, and the way that people that struggle with this are treated, it's just horrendous. And I told you earlier, I wanted to bring up 2 different articles about this. I had never heard of this news site before. I haven't looked too deeply into this place, but it's from meaww.com, MEAWW. And it seems like kind of a tabloid type news site. So I guess it's not really news, but it's more of a gossip site. It says, who is Tiffany Spears? Tennessee mom dies of overdosing, leaving son, age of 1, to die. And this one, there's a real big reason why I'm bringing this specific one up here. Let's read this part here. So it goes through the general beats of the story that everybody had already reported on. And then they add this additional one, these additional parts right here. Earlier this year, we reported that a Kentucky mom I'm not going to say the name, 33, accidentally murdered her 2-year-old son with fentanyl bought with a stimulus check. We also reported another bizarre incident when a North Carolina mom got arrested after she gave her 14-year-old daughter a heroin fentanyl meth cocktail after she died. What's absolutely despicable to me in this article really is they find a way to kind of dig at stimulus checks, because it seems like so much of corporate media, they're run by people that don't want tax dollars to go back to the people at all. And they've just got this idea that anybody that gets any money or any handouts is just going to go do some drug overdoses and stuff like that. And it feels like this was kind of thrown in there. I mean, the fact that they had to mention that she bought it with a stimulus check, which is not verifiable at all. I mean, she had money to buy drugs. I mean, it just, money comes in and then you spend money. That's how it works. So it's almost like it's setting it up in a way that it's saying, you know, it's a good thing a lot of people are poor, otherwise they would do drugs. Like, come on, really? Okay, so one last thing before I go here. One thing I forgot to do is this website here, I'm gonna have to dig a little bit more into this. But if you go to their ethics code, says it's the policy of MEA worldwide to give its readers a comprehensive, unbiased, and factually accurate reportage of the news. Okay, I don't know if that's a word. We'll look it up in a second here. Our writers and editors come from strong journalism backgrounds with a foundation of ethics and accuracy. It is our goal to not only gain the trust of readers across the world, but keep that trust by delivering the news unvarnished and with no hidden agendas. Which is really interesting after reading that other article where they were trying to shoehorn kind of a editorialized message in between the lines about government handouts. Anyway, really awful story. Really sucks to do this one as the very first one for Night Talks here, but it's I'm getting things set up now. This is just one thing that was just really on my mind. So anyway,